It's been a few days since my last E3 video, but I've been carefully watching and rewatching everything that's been going on at this year's digital E3 event. And now I understand that many of you probably have seen stuff that you're really looking forward to or that you're really interested in, but to be completely honest, aside from a few really cool announcements here and there, it's probably been one of the worst E3 shows that I've seen in a lot of years. Probably not the worst, not by a long shot, but it's definitely one of the worst I've seen in quite a while. So before I attempt to explain myself, I always like to take a few seconds at the start of my videos to thank everybody for the support that's been shown on my content and to also welcome new subscribers. So the current goal of the channel is to try and reach 500 subs. So if you enjoy this video but you aren't subscribed, take a quick look at some of my other content, and if you like what you see, please do consider subscribing to the channel. All that kind of stuff really goes a long way to helping small channels like mine get seen by a lot more people, and of course, I genuinely appreciate that. So why has this E3 been so bad for me? Well, in my last video I spoke about the Summer Game Fest reveals and some of the trailers. In that presentation, we got what for me has been pretty much the highlight of this E3. And of course I'm talking about Elden Ring, and to a lesser extent the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands announcement. Besides those two games, there hasn't really been a single game that I'm interested in, maybe a few here and there, little ones, you know. And I think that's for actually a couple of different reasons, but we'll get into that now. So what we're going to do is talk about each press conference, and I'll explain how I personally feel about them as we go. Firstly, we have the Ubisoft presentation. So they showed Rainbow Six Extraction, some Rainbow Six Siege stuff, a new Rocksmith subscription service thing, some Riders Republic gameplay, Just Dance 2022, Far Cry 6, a new Mario plus Rabbids game, and an Avatar game based on the James Cameron movie. And I'm going to be honest with you and say that not a single thing here actually interests me in any way at all. Now, you know, if you're a fan of some of the games here and you're someone who plays, you know, Rainbow Six all the time and you've played every Far Cry game and all this kind of stuff, then, you know, I hear you and that's cool and that's fine. It's just, it's not what I'm after, it's not what I'm looking for, and you know, I'm happy you got something out of this show, but this video is based on my opinions and that's what I'm gonna give you. So if I say something during this is not interesting to me, I'm not like shitting on it and saying it's really bad, I'm just saying it doesn't interest me personally. I mean, it was cool to see some of the Riders Republic stuff. I mean, that's kind of alright, I suppose. I just can't see myself really ever wanting to play it, but you know, who knows, down the line, perhaps maybe closer to the time of launch, maybe there won't be anything else out around the same time and I will play it and maybe I'll review it. That will of course all depend. But in regards to things like Rainbow Six Extraction and Siege, they're not games I've ever played and they're not games that I have interest in playing, so that stuff, while it looked kind of cool, I guess, is really not for me. Rocksmith is something I don't really have any experience in. I do play the guitar, although I haven't for many years. I sort of stopped playing due to some arthritic issues in my hands, but you know, it's a cool thing, although I'm not sure how it being a subscription service is going to go down with people that actually enjoy Rocksmith already. I have a friend that plays it, so I'll ask him what he thinks, but you know, again, not really for me. Just Dance is 100% not for me. Let's just say that right now. Far Cry as a series has never been something that I've been interested in. I played some of the earlier ones on the PC back in the day, but yeah, again, I played Far Cry 5, played it for about 5 hours, really couldn't get into it, never went back to it. So again, Far Cry is not something that I'm interested in. I did play the Mario plus Rabbids game on the Nintendo Switch. That was okay, pretty good. I think I got, I'm trying to remember if I finished it or not. I don't think I did, but again, it's not something that I'm really interested in playing. And I have not seen the Avatar movie because I have absolutely zero interest in it. And to be honest, I don't watch a lot of movies. I probably watch like 2 or 3 movies in a year. So yeah, again, Avatar is not something that I'll be playing or have any interest in whatsoever, and that's going to be a pretty much a common theme throughout this video, but it's just to show you what stuff I have, you know, zero interest in and what stuff I have mild interest in, I suppose. So second, we've got the Devolver Digital Show, and everyone knows that Devolver, they do some weird comedy skits and stuff throughout their shows, and you know, I do appreciate that, especially the digs they get in at the corporate crap that the industry pulls, but frankly, I was just kind of here for the games. I'm not really interested in the comedy stuff, although, you know, it is funny and I get that people really enjoy it. It's just not what I'm here for, you know? They showed off Shadow Warrior 3 that looked pretty cool, Trek to Yomi, Phantom Abyss, Death's Door, Inscription, and finally Demon Throttle. So going back through those, Shadow Warrior 3 is by far the most interesting thing I saw here. It looks kind of a bit like the Doom games, the more modern ones. A little bit of Necromunda Hired Gun, you know. I've never played any of the Shadow Warrior games, but I may give that one a go when it comes out. I'm not, again, super interested in it, but it looks okay. Trek to Yomi looks really interesting. I think visually it's interesting, but probably not something I'll ever get round to playing. Phantom Abyss is kind of a Fall Guys type thing, but, you know, sort of Indiana Jones style, going through tombs and things, trying not to die, and all the other phantoms that you see are other players that have died in the same place and all that. Interesting, but not something I'll play. Death's Door, I don't actually remember much about that one, and I don't remember much about Inscription, although I think it was a card-based game. But again, these did not stick in my mind, and Demon Throttle, sorry, at the end. They just don't stick in my mind because they're things that I'll probably not play. So, but remember, if any of these do appeal to you, please do tell me in the comments. Like, tell me what you liked about it. I would be interested to know. And I'm going to have to repeat this again. I'm not saying that these are crappy games or anything, or that they shouldn't exist or anything like that. I'm just saying they're not what I'm looking for, you know? And that's fine. That's fine. Not everybody likes everything, so just keep that in mind. Third up, we have Gearbox's presentation with part-time magician and professional weirdo Randy Pitchford. This one is kind of easy to talk about, in my opinion. It was all just padding. There was nothing of substance really here at all. I mean, they showed Tribes of Midgard, Homeworld 3, and some Godfall stuff. I was hoping for some gameplay of Wonderlands, but nope, we just got kind of interviews with the Borderlands movie people, and which is fine. I mean, I'm not hopeful for that movie, but, you know, who knows? It could be one of those things where, you know, crappy movies are so bad that they're good, but who really knows at this point? I have a feeling it will be more bad than bad good, but, you know, we'll see. Like most games shown at this whole E3 event, Tribes of Midgard looks fine. You know, it looks like a perfectly acceptable video game, but it's just not something I'm interested in personally. But if you are, let me know down below. I know absolutely nothing about the Homeworld series. I saw that there was a Homeworld remastered collection on Steam or something that they advertised. I have no idea what these games are about, so I have zero interest in Homeworld 3, but I will look into it a little bit more. The Godfall stuff was really interesting in a sort of weird way, because I was expecting, you know, a really large expansion, and they did show off some expansion stuff. I think they showed a free one and a paid one, but then they also showed that it's getting a downgrade to PS4, so it's coming out on PS4. I mean, the cynical side of me says, oh dear, we didn't sell very many of these on the PS5, so let's, you know, downgrade it and put it on the PS4 and hope we'll get some more sales. That kind of seems like what they're doing, and Godfall isn't a great game. It's an okay game. I played it on launch, and it was actually the first video that I did for this channel, which is quite funny. I was thinking about perhaps on the 1-year anniversary of my channel doing a sort of revisit of Godfall, because, you know, it was the first video I did, and it has gone through quite a few patches and updates, plus it will have the new stuff out by then. So I might go back and do it and sort of review it in my newer style, because I think I've come quite a long way in the content that I've put out since, you know, I started this, so that might be interesting to do. But other than that, the Gearbox presentation was a whole lot of nothing, really. There was, you know, apart from Midgard and Homeworld 3, it was just a lot of padding, so it is what it is. Lastly, we've got the big one, which is the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. This really had the opportunity to be one of the best things across all of E3 this year, but for me, it was probably one of the worst Xbox shows that I've ever watched personally. And that's not to say that the games themselves were bad, it's just that they didn't really show a lot. And I've seen people saying that this is like Xbox's best showing ever, and I'm just like, is it? Really? I mean, again, people are different, people have different views, different opinions. I have to keep reminding people of that. I wish I didn't, but I do. It just didn't do it for me. I mean, the only thing that remotely interested me here was Forza Horizon 5, and that's a game that I could honestly take or leave, really. I got into the series on Horizon 3, the one set in Australia, and then the one in, I think, was it Scotland 4, I think? I can't quite remember, but this one's set in Mexico, and it looks pretty cool. It looks really good, looks graphically pretty amazing, you know. But again, it's not something that I would buy an Xbox for. I actually sold my Xbox Series S console that I had a few months ago, and right now the only Xbox console I own is the original one from 2001, a modded version. But yeah, the reason I sold the S was simply that I wasn't using it, and I thought, well, you know, someone else that really wanted one that couldn't get hold of it would probably be better off having it than me, so I just sold it for retail. I didn't, you know, gouge them on the price or anything. I just sold it for retail plus shipping, so someone else got a good deal on it. And, you know, down the line, perhaps they'll do a Series X Slim revision of the console, and then maybe I'll jump on at that point. But as of right now, I see zero reason for me personally to own a current gen Xbox. If you're an Xbox fan and you love your console, then great, you know, that's cool. I'm not here to say you're wrong. I'm just here to give my view on things, and my view is that I don't need or want an Xbox because there's just nothing on it that I want at all. It's just incredibly hard to trust them, and Bethesda for that matter, after the stuff that they pulled in recent years. But, you know, of course, like with most things, stuff can change and only time will truly tell. So what did they show? Well, they had Starfield, Stalker 2, Back 4 Blood, Contraband, Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life, Battlefield 2042, 12 minutes, Psychonauts 2, some Fallout 76 stuff, some Elder Scrolls Online stuff, something called Party Animals that looked kind of weird, Hades coming to the Game Pass, Somerville, Halo Infinite's free-to-play multiplayer standalone thing, Plague Tale 2, Far Cry 6 again, Slime Rancher 2, and a snowboarding game called Shredders Atomic Heart, Replaced, which actually looked pretty cool with its pixel graphics, some updates for Grounded, Among Us, Ayuden Chronicles, 2 different versions of it looks like, Age of Empires 4, Outer Worlds 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Forza Horizon 5, Redfall, and the most important reveal of the entire show, the Xbox Series X mini fridge, which I actually kind of want more than the console itself. But let's go back and have a quick look at all the games that I mentioned, and there was a lot, so bear with me. So the Starfield trailer meant absolutely nothing to me. I have a huge problem trusting Bethesda with anything at the moment, and this trailer basically showed us absolutely nothing. So they've described it as Skyrim in space, but, you know, Fallout 76 was supposed to be, you know, more of what we loved in Fallout, except it wasn't. It was utter garbage. Maybe it's better now, I don't know, I'm never going to find out. But yeah, it just didn't really tell us anything, so really not interested. Stalker 2 looked really impressive, but it's kind of slightly horror based, so it's probably something I won't ever play, but I respect it, and if you're a fan of it, let me know what the original was like. I think it was a PC game, right? Never played it, but if you did, let me know what that was like. Back 4 Blood is basically Left 4 Dead, but, you know, it's the same developers, basically, because apparently Valve can't count to 3. These devs just decided to go and make their own version of it, I suppose. It looks fine. I did play Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, funnily enough, even though I really can't deal with zombies and horror stuff. I did play it because I had a group that wanted me to, and I sort of gave in. I never really enjoyed it, but like I could see it was a good, fun game. It's just the stuff kind of creeped me out. It was very, very weird. But yeah, not interested in buying that. Contraband, which seems to be a sort of heist game. Again, not really much interest. Didn't really show us anything. Sea of Thieves, again, for me is a bit of a meme. It's one of their big, heavy-hitting games, apparently, and to me, it's not interesting at all. It's not a reason to own an Xbox. And again, this is for me. I just have no interest in it. Battlefield, I'm not even going to go into. I don't play Call of Duty or Battlefield. They're not things I have any interest in. 12 minutes was kind of interesting. Looks like a bit of an indie murder mystery thing, and you have, I think it's, 12 minutes, funnily enough, to sort of figure out what's going on or something like that. I know 12 minutes plays into it somehow. I just don't know exactly what that means. Next, Psychonauts 2. That's something that's really interesting to me because I've never played Psychonauts 1, and I've always wanted to, even though I owned an original Xbox. I think I played a demo of it on that back in the day, but I'd love to play the original Psychonauts. I just never got round to it, and it's definitely on my bucket list. So yeah, okay, Psychonauts 2 is kind of interesting. I would probably play that. Again, not a reason to own an Xbox, but down the line, yeah, I could see me playing that. Don't care about Fallout 76 stuff at all. Elder Scrolls Online, though, I have played a good deal of that. I fell off like a year or so ago, probably a bit more than that actually. But yeah, me and my wife played it together, and I quite enjoyed that game. I thought it was quite good. It's very grindy. It's I mean, I liked when they did that update that allowed you to just go wherever you wanted and everything would scale to you. That was really interesting. Maybe I'll go back to it one day, but it just kind of feels a bit overwhelming at this point. That thing called Party Animals was weird. It kind of looked a bit like a beat 'em up fighting game multiplayer thing, but with, you know, cuddly animals and stuff. Almost a bit like Fall Guys-esque, but I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be. It looks kind of funny, but again, it's not something I would buy. Hades coming to Game Pass is cool for Xbox owners. That's a good thing for you guys. Hades is a magnificent game, even though I was absolutely shite at it. I cannot play that game. My wife's beaten it many times over. I couldn't do it. Sometimes it's weird. This only happens in very weird and very special circumstances, but for some reason in that game, and the only other game I can think of that's the same is Super Smash Brothers, the Nintendo Switch one. I cannot see I can't follow the action for some reason. My brain and my eyes will just not follow the action, and I end up getting killed all the time, and I have no idea what hit me or where from. But you know, fine with Dark Souls, fine with other games, just not that one for some reason. But you know, good for Game Pass owners, definitely. Then we have Somerville, which kind of seems like a Little Nightmares Limbo style game. Looks kind of interesting. I have played Little Nightmares, and not the second one, but I have played and beaten the first one. They're interesting. I like the lore surrounding it more than the actual gameplay itself. But, you know, this could be interesting. Probably, again, not something I'll pick up, but it looks interesting. Then we've got some Halo Infinite free-to-play multiplayer stuff. I don't care about Halo anymore. Halo it's not for me anymore. I grew up with Halo 1, 2, and 3. Loved ODST and absolutely loved Reach. After that, I sort of fell off of it because, and this is okay by the way, but what tends to happen is that a new generation comes along and the studio is nowhere near the same studio that created it originally. I mean, it was Bungie originally, and now it's just gone in a different direction, and the direction it's gone in is not one that I care for, and that's fine. It just isn't for me anymore, but I respect it, and if you're a Halo fan and you've loved it from the beginning and you still love it now, great. If you're someone who's new to Halo but you love the new stuff, great. You know, it's all fine, it's all good. It's just not for me anymore, and that's basically the way Gears of War has gone as well. It's a bit sad to say because, you know, I don't get to really play it anymore. I probably will down the line at some point. I'll play the story of Halo Infinite, but right now I have no interest in it. And if you've got interest in the multiplayer, great. But it is a free-to-play thing, so it's going to be full of microtransaction stuff, which is a shame because, you know, it never needed that to be good before, and it doesn't need it to be good now. Then we've got Plague Tale 2, which is, again, I never played the first one, the thing with all the rats, and that just never interested me. I thought it looked pretty cool, like the effects on how they got, not the effects, but how they got so many rats on screen at once. The tech that was used there looked really impressive. It's just not something I'd be interested in playing. We got Far Cry 6 again, not interested in that. Slime Rancher, not something I've ever really seen anything to do with or played. I've seen bits of it, but not something I've played. There's a snowboarding game called Shredders that looks kind of cool. I mean, it's alright. It's a snowboarding game. There's not really much else to say. Atomic Heart kind of looks cool. It's kind of Bioshock-esque, I feel, maybe more like the first one rather than Infinite, but again, looks interesting. Probably not something I'll play. Replaced, I don't know really anything about because it's this pixel art thing, but I remember seeing the trailer for it and then I was like, what was that? I just didn't really, I mean, it looked great, but I don't really know what it's about. It looks cool and it might be something I would play down the line. Grounded is something I'm not interested in. Among Us is something I'm not interested in. The Ayuden, if that's how you even say it, Chronicles games looked kind of cool. They look a bit 2.5D. They really remind me of the Octopath Traveler games. It looks like there's two versions. I don't know if this is a Pokemon style thing, you know, with the two versions, but it looks interesting and I might check those out one day. Age of Empires, I like the originals on PC, not really bothered anymore about the new ones. Outer Worlds 2 is kind of interesting actually because I played the first one and I did beat it, but I got so bored of it about, I don't know, 1/3 into the game, probably about 9 hours in, maybe 7. I just got really bored with it and ended up just mowing down everyone I saw rather than trying to properly roleplay. I just got bored of it and just wanted to get through it. So I don't actually have that much hype for Outer Worlds 2, really. It's a fine game. It's okay. It's just really, it didn't speak to me, which is funny because I love Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. I really thought I would enjoy Outer Worlds 2 and I just didn't. So I don't know, it is what it is. It's hard to explain sometimes. Got some Microsoft Flight Simulator stuff. I think they're doing a crossover with Top Gun. We got Forza Horizon 5, which again is something I am partly interested in. I would play that down the line. Redfall, again, just a CG trailer. We know nothing about what it actually is really. Some sort of shooter. Just not interested in it. Maybe if it wasn't just a CG trailer, I'd be able to give you better thoughts on it. And of course, the Xbox Series X mini fridge, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to buy one, but they are pretty cool. It's good that they're taking that meme on the chin and, you know, having some fun with it. I think that's a good way to go. So there you go. That's my thoughts on all of that stuff. I understand that a lot of this was just, I'm not interested in that, I'm not interested in that, but that's the way this E3 has gone for me. There's just not anything that's really wowing me besides Elden Ring, and even Wonderlands is just kind of a CG trailer. There's no gameplay, but because I already know what Borderlands is, I kind of have it in my head what this could be. So that makes me excited. There's a few things in here that are decent, a few things that I would play down the line, nothing I would run out and tell everyone to buy or anything like that. I'm just very skeptical of E3 and of trailers at this point because we've been lied to so many times. I mean, just remember what happened with Cyberpunk. Just remember that. I'm just waiting until the games come out and we'll see how it goes from there. And again, I'm not crapping on the games by saying I'm not interested, they're just not for me. But if there was stuff from this show that you think was interesting, please do tell me in the comments. Let me know why you like it and why maybe I should look into it. If it's something that I've said I'm not too interested in, maybe try and sell me on it. Give me some pointers, give me some information. I'll see what I can do about it. The next E3 videos will probably contain the Square Enix stuff, as well as Nintendo, Take-Two Interactive, and Capcom. But I think that's all there is to say, so if you liked the video and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. Check out Pyro Games for some retro gaming goodness. There'll be a link to their store in the description down below, as well as a discount code for 10% off your order. But with all that said, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.